Good afternoon. I'm looking out across Belfast from Divis in the Black Mountain here, and I am fascinated by why Belfast streets and roads were named the way they were. Who named them and why did they name them in this particular way? And I've done several videos about this already, and I've discovered that many of the names of our streets were named after wars. They were named after battles in the Crimean War, battles in World War I, World War II, and generals and leaders in some of those wars as well. So there's a military connection in many of our street names. There's also an industrial and political connection. Many of our streets are named after leading politicians of the day. Many of our street names are named after the type of industry that was prevalent in the area at that particular time, and industries that are long gone. Many of our street names are named after rivers. Many of our street names are named after so many other different reasons. The people, the builders, in many cases just named them after people in their family. Some of them named them after derby winners. I mean, some of them down towards Botanic named the streets after places they had visited in the Middle East. So you've got the Holy Land coming out. So there's one big area that I have not covered in all my investigations, and I'm particularly interested in the street names and roads in and around East Belfast. Many of them originate from the Irish language. We'll start with Belfast first. Belfast comes from the two Gaelic names, Belfast First, and it means mouth of the sand bank forward. And the Farset River ran into Belfast, so we have a muddy ford over the river Farset and Bell First. Okay, and this is the River Lagan at Milburn, or near enough Milburn, and the River Lagan's name comes from the Irish Aban an Lagan, which means River of the Low-lying District. And here we have a wet Craigie Road. And then I'm also thinking of Craigie Clan. So where do those names come from? Again, the Irish. Craigie is Gaelic for Craigie, or to translate that, a rocky place. And then, of course, you've got Rocky Road, which goes up the hillside from the dual carriageway. This is the brilliant wall mural at Tullycarnot in remembrance of the actions of Seaman James McGuinness, VC winner, Northern Ireland's only VC winner during the Second World War. And it's at Tullycarnot. So where did Tullycarnot come from? And it comes from Tulloch Sharnain, and it means the hillock of the little cairn. Now, cairn is a grave, probably some warrior or other. And it's fitting that James McGuinness is remembered there too, because we're remembering another warrior. So again, from the Irish. And this is an old picture of Newton Breda. And then we have Knockbreda, obviously, across the carriageway. So where did the name Breda come from? Well, Breda comes from An Bredac, and that means one of the 4 chief tribes of Mona. It refers to one of the 4 chief tribes of Mona, so they must have lived in that area. And then we've got Knockbreda as well, as I said. And I'm on Google Maps, and this area here, housing estate, is Tuckmona. Now, Tuckmona is a bit out of what I'm talking about. I'm really staying with East Belfast. Its name in the Irish is Tuath Monarch, and it refers to being the tribe of Mona. I presume that this is connected in some way to the Mona tribes mentioned in the translation of Breda and Knockbreda. And this is the entrance to the ancient graveyard at Knock, just off the dual carriageway, as you're heading over to the Upper Newtonards Road. And this is a locked cemetery. It's locked because the council don't want the graves vandalised or the graveyard being misused by drunks. But where does Knock come from? Well, the word that we understand as knock today, the spelling comes from C-N-O-C in the Irish, and it simply means hill. And the last Irish street name or place name that I'm going to highlight in this wee video is again, it's not in East Belfast, but you can see it from East Belfast. Of course it's the Cave Hill with Napoleon's nose displayed prominently. And how many of us have climbed up the Cave Hill and climbed into one of the caves? I would say quite a number of folks watching this video might have done that. So where does the word Cave Hill come from? Well, it comes from Ban Vanha, the Irish, or to be translated, the cliff of the cave. So an awful lot of our place names, street names, even in East Belfast, come from the Irish, and they've been intermixed with all sorts of Scottish names and English names and goodness knows what other names of people coming into the city who have renamed streets, etc., etc. So these Irish names are common to us all. They link us to the past, and you know, for the Irish names to come about, we're talking pre-1600, when Con O'Neill is recognised as being the last Gaelic lord. So a wee bit of, conclusion to this series that I have been doing about Belfast street names and places. They point back to a rich history, and study it, get into it, try and find out why your street name was named that way, and if you want to post in to me about that, then feel free to do so. All the best.